What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another tips and tricks video for the PlayStation 5, where today we're going to be talking about stick drift on the PS5 DualSense controller. You guys have been asking for me to talk about this, so today I'm going to be giving you guys my best suggestions on what to do if you are unfortunate enough to have this happen to your new PS5 controller. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what controller stick drift is, this is basically what it looks like, where the controller analog stick is clearly inputting movement, even though you aren't actually touching the thumbstick. And this was also a common issue with some PS4 controllers as well. And as you can see, it has in fact made its return to a select number of PS5 DualSense controllers. So you're probably wondering, what do I recommend doing if your controller is affected by this issue? Well, I can tell you first what not to do, and that is that I do not recommend trying to take apart your DualSense controller yourself in attempt to fix this issue. Now, previously I have made videos showing how to fix this particular issue on the DualShock 4 by taking apart the controller and either cleaning or replacing the analog sensors. And while this will fix the issue 9 times out of 10, the problem is that the DualSense controller is much more complex and difficult to disassemble than the previous generation DualShock 4, at least in my opinion. So for the average user, it's honestly difficult for me to recommend in good faith that you try to fix this yourself. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to make a video in the future showing how to do it, but considering that the console is still relatively new, I honestly recommend anyone who encounters this issue just send the controller to Sony and get it replaced for free of charge. You're going to be much better off doing that than voiding your warranty by trying to fix it yourself and even potentially causing more issues with your controller. But before you actually contact Sony support and start the process of sending your controller in, there are actually a few things that you can try at home that might be helpful. So here are my best recommendations. First, you can try resetting your controller. You can use a paperclip or toothpick to press down on the hidden reset button on the controller for 3 to 5 seconds. And once you're done, plug the controller back in and press the PS button. Next, you want to make sure that your controller firmware is in fact up to date with the latest version. And you'll know that you need to update it if you get a notification asking you to do so whenever you power on your PlayStation 5. I also recommend that you try playing on USB communication instead of Bluetooth, just to rule out the possibility of it being an issue with the wireless communication instead of the actual thumbstick modules themselves. And lastly, this one might seem a bit silly, but you can actually try wiggling the thumbsticks up and down a few times just to see if it makes any kind of difference. And it's not incredibly likely that this will, but in this situation, I do think it's worth trying, at least in my opinion. And strange enough, there are people who actually swear by this and say it works. So I recommend that you at least try and give it a shot. And just as a bonus, I do recommend doing what I did and try to purchase a secondary controller if you can. And the reason is that in the event you do have to send in your PS5 controller, you can still play your PS5 games without having to wait to get it back. But there you guys have it. Now you know what I recommend doing if you have stick drift on your PS5 DualSense controller. Remember, if you guys did enjoy this video and found it useful or interesting, to leave a like rating, also comment below to let me know what you think. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for post notifications. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.